I am all ears.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so I love hearing good takes, okay? I know that we dissect a lot of bad takes pretty often, maybe too often on this channel, but I like some good takes. And apparently, this is a good take. I have no idea. Someone sent this to me, and I can't even remember it, and I'm so sorry. I can't remember who it was because I tried to find the DM. I had it saved for so long in my phone, like as a note, but I have no idea. So if you left this, please let me know in the comments, and I'm gonna pin you. All right, you're gonna be pinned at the top. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about this. So this says, do the San Antonio Spurs have the league's most promising rebuild? Well, we're about to find out. Now, this might interrupt me with an ad, and I'm sorry. It's because I don't have YouTube Premium. I'm pretty sure that's what's called, YouTube Premium. And the reason being is because you guys aren't buying merch. I said this in another video. It's not clever anymore. If you guys want to support the channel and get yourself some merch, it's clanthemerchfan.com. I'll be honest with you guys, man. It's a lot of fun. This is okay. Getting the designs, getting them made and everything, making the shirts, send them out. It's a lot of fun. It's also a lot of work. So support your voice, support the grind, if you will. And yeah, man, we're gonna get it popping. I'm gonna have way more throughout the season too. I'm also gonna add like stickers and decals, and that's gonna be fun. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this. I lost the video. Here we go. All right, so this is from Hardwood Knox, which it has no comments. That's really strange, especially being a Spurs video. Usually Spurs fans come in and have something to say. Well, I you know what, I'm gonna be the first comment. After this, I'm leaving a comment. All right, let's go ahead and listen to it, and hopefully it is a good take. Someone said it's a really great take, so all right, let's do this.
The Southwest Division, the San Antonio Spurs. Notable moves include they traded DeJounte Murray and Jock Landale to the Hawks for Danilo Gallinari, who they waived. Charlotte's 2023 first. It's top 16 protected next year, then lottery protected the following 2 seasons before. Does that just extinguish or does it become 2 seconds?
By the way, I absolutely love his backdrop. Maybe if he turned the angle a little bit, like some lights behind. Oh my God, if he has some lights, oh my goodness, bro. Oh my goodness. I don't know what my boy over here doing, but this, I like that. I like it a lot. Looks like he's a Knicks fan. I can't tell.
I should really look that up, but that's the protections on it. They also acquired Atlanta's 2025 first-round pick, unprotected. They have swap rights with Atlanta in 26, unprotected, and then Atlanta's 2027 first-round pick, unprotected.
That's a finesse.
They drafted Jeremy Sohan at number 9, drafted Malachi Branham at number 20.
Steal.
Drafted Blake Wesley at number 25.
Steal, projected 10 through 20.
They signed Keldon Johnson to a 4-year, $74 million extension.
Steal, because his contract goes down and not up. That's ridiculous, especially with the height, the hike that we're about to see when it comes to a contract soon.
There's $1.5 million per year in unlikely incentives. That could bring that up to a 4-year, $80 million deal. They claimed Isaiah Roby off waivers, and they traded the number 38 pick, which was Kennedy Chandler, to the Grizzlies for the Lakers' 2024 second-round pick and $1 million in cash. Should I go in depth on why I like that Kennedy Chandler trade? Because who knows what the Lakers look like in 2024? That could be a number 31 pick.
No, we agree on that.
And then they're notable. Oh, they signed Dominic Barlow to a 2-way contract and signed Jordan Hall to a 2-way contract. Notable exits, aside from Murray, obviously, Lonnie Walker IV signed with the Lakers. Grant, what did you give the Spurs?
Do you have a great idea?
Oh my God, guys. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I was trying to tell you guys. Like, how am I supposed to do content? How am I supposed to do anything? I can't do anything. I can't do anything right. I'm dumb.
Flat A. I'm not giving A pluses. This is as high as I go.
Wait, bad take. Hold on.
Flat A.
Wait, a flat A?
Fourth signed.
That's a bad take.
Dominic Barlow to a 2-way contract and signed Jordan Hall to a 2-way contract. Notable exits, aside from Murray, obviously, Lonnie Walker IV signed with the Lakers. Grant, what did you give the Spurs?
This is a flat A. I'm not giving A pluses. This is as high as I go. The only way I could imagine someone, maybe you'll prove me wrong, thinking this is anything less than like an A minus is if you just really can't get over not having Lonnie Walker back for another year to like tantalize for a minute and then be bad for 3 weeks.
Okay, hold on. Are these Spurs fans? This is highly impressive. Is this a Spurs fan? Hold on. Wait a minute. Are these Spurs fans? I don't know. I can't tell. Are these Spurs fans? Is he a Spurs fan? What's his name? GT Hughes. Okay, I'm gonna look him up. He has to be. He has to be. He has to be a. There's no way. There's no way. That was so accurate. He has to be a Spurs fan.
Prove me wrong. Thinking this is anything less than like an A- is if you just really can't get over not having Lonnie Walker back for another year to like tantalize for a minute and then be bad for 3 weeks. The Murray trade, like I get it, it sucks if you're a Spurs fan on some fronts because like
he's
this
not
is
a
your
Spurs
best player. He's
Well,
coming
maybe.
off just a ridiculous season. Probably if you're only a fantasy player, you're like, how could they possibly trade this guy?
He is.
But to do it at the right time.
Yeah, he is a Spurs fan. He is a Spurs fan. See? He is a Spurs fan. Followed by Noah. Literally has Ginobili as his background. Yeah, I knew it. There's no way. There's no way you have an opinion like that and you haven't been paying attention. Like, yeah, that was way too accurate. I knew it.
Time because the logic of an extension didn't make sense, so he was going to get to unrestricted free agency, and then you're facing this is granted like this is down the road a little bit, 2 years, but you're talking about maxing him out. I like him a lot. I don't know if that would have made sense. So to get this haul of picks, awesome. To get Keldon Johnson locked down to that number, especially like
Insane.
I mean, with the cap going, even if the cap were staying flat, that's just like an absolute phenomenal signing, or phenomenal extension. With it
He's
going up,
represented by
like,
Clutch Sports too. I couldn't
it's a
believe he
joke.
signed that deal.
it's a joke. I just don't understand how you were able to keep him for so little. And like the big picture thing, I like Sohan a lot. The big picture thing is now like you're in the Victor Wembanyama pole position, or you have the ability
The pole
to be.
position.
Like that is like you are in position to suck worse than any other team, or at least you're in the mix. They gotta be one of those bottom 3 teams, I think, or bottom 4.
Easy.
And like that's just how you flip this around. So, and credit to the Spurs, because the Spurs historically have not done this. Like, and the last time they really did it, it yielded Tim Duncan, and it required some luck. But like this is the time to do it. I'm glad they finally did it. It hurts to lose Murray, but like this, like micro, any way you want to look at this, I think they just did the right stuff.
This is such a good take, and maybe it's because he's a Spurs. I don't know, but this is no, it's not just because he's Spurs. A lot of Spurs fans have bad takes on this. No, this is a great take, like absolutely great take. This is what I've been preaching. He kind of summed up everything that I've been preaching in like 20 videos. It's the same thing. I think that the Spurs did a phenomenal job. You put yourself in a great position. You lock down a player that is legit in Keldon Johnson. Even locking him down, you didn't have to spend that much. You have so much cap left. You got unprotected picks for a player that was a all-star reserve, which just keep this in perspective. It is hard to get unprotected picks for stars, like for superstars. It is hard to get. The fact that the Spurs were able to finesse that is incredible, and they were able to convince the Atlanta Hawks that they were a DJ away from like a championship or late contender. And I don't personally think they are. We'll wait and see, but I don't personally think they are. But that's I don't know. I just think that's pretty incredible. Yeah, I think the Spurs did a phenomenal job. A is a perfect grade for them.
Yeah, they got an A for me too. I don't know what you would dislike about their offseason. Like I said, unless you think should they've taken someone else at 20 and 25 or even
Not really. The reason why a lot of Spurs, and I'm gonna let them talk, but the reason why a lot of Spurs fans are, a few are not happy, it's just because they're contrarians. Like there's no true, especially Spurs Twitter, there's no true like good thing that the Spurs can do in their eyes. Like either you're jumping on the franchise, bandwagon when they do something well, or you're awake. Okay. You understand that the franchise isn't as great as you think they are. I don't know if that made any sense. All I'm trying to say is a lot of people that criticize the Spurs, they're just contrarians. It's not really an objective view of what we did, or they have some weird obsession believing that DeJounte Murray was going to take this team to a championship. Another thing too that kind of bothers me, I'm gonna let them go, but there's one thing in particular that I want to talk about that really grinds my gears. It's the fact that a lot of people, they will say that what the Spurs should have done was keep DeJounte Murray, because DeJounte Murray would have brought in free agents when we already know that Zach LaVine wasn't coming to the Spurs because we weren't in a position to win. He basically said that, or his people said that. It was reported. And we know that DeAndre Ayton didn't want to come to the Spurs. So this idea that keeping DJ and then going and get those guys is what the Spurs should have did. Maybe they tried, but those guys weren't coming. That really bothered me. That always kind of bothered me. So anyways.
At number 9. I really like the Jeremy Sohan pick. I do think it looks a little bit worse now that Chip Anglin's not there anymore. Yeah. I was counting on him to help with the jump shot, but just as someone who's a ball mover, connective tissue on offense, and can defend a whole bunch of different spots on defense, I love the theory of him. And there's just, even let's say the Hawks, it works out for Atlanta, and it might, because DeJounte Murray and Trae Young and Clint Capella and John Collins and Deion, that's a shit ton of talent. Mm-hmm. But you have all those pick commitments scaling past DeJounte Murray's current contract.
Yeah,
that is big. And the other thing is just like, they will be valuable in subsequent trades just as a concept before they even convey. And I think the bigger value here is you clarified your direction and you're not in that.
Yes. I've been asking for a direction the past like 2 years. Yes.
Middle part of the NBA anymore. And to me, I understand that teams are run as a business and that it's not championship or bust for everybody. But if I'm a fan, this is how I would root for teams. It's how I do root for my teams. That is my goal. I don't care what market I'm in. Like, I want to see them building towards something. And this is why, as a Knicks fan, as a beleaguered Knicks fan.
Oh, I was right. He is a Knicks fan. God, I am on point. The fact that I was able to just look at a few context clues back here and then hear one thing that this guy say and say, yes, you're a Knicks fan. Yes, you're a Spurs fan. I am impressive. Not really. I don't know. You guys probably guessed too.
I would rather see them take the long, not circuitous path, but like a long semi-direct route where it's like, oh, they're trying to build something. The Spurs are now clearly doing that. And even if you don't think that their next pole star is on this team, and let's be honest.
Look, get y'all money, man. Get y'all money. I'm not mad at you for the ads. Get your money. By the way, I believe it's Josh Primo. I think Josh Primo is going to be the next star on this team. At least the one that we see that's definitive, like, okay, this is a star. All right, we're back.
Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, or Josh Primo are probably the top candidates for that. Their best chance at acquiring a pole star is probably in the future with one of their draft picks. That's fine, because now your draft stock is going to be high enough that you're in the cornerstone territory and you're not constantly relying on these mid to late lottery picks or just mid to late first rounders in general. And the other thing here is just like, maybe you feel differently if DeJounte Murray was willing to sign an extension, but he wasn't, because you had him on a steal of a deal in the first place, that 120% raise in advance of what his max salary would have been.
It would have been nothing. Oh my God, they're speaking so many facts. What the heck is this? Guys, this is such a good podcast right now. What is this? Hardwood not. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh, they're hitting every point. This is crazy. They're hitting every point that we've talked about previously. When the whole DJ thing was going down, before we even traded him, we talked about the reason why trading him made sense. Because the contract, like, even if we gave him a raise for this extension, it's going to be nothing. He wouldn't take it anyway. And then if you try to wait, then you're passing up on other opportunities that you could possibly get by waiting it out for no reason. And then if you waited next season and you still don't really want to pay DJ, then you have him for 1 year. And if you try to trade a 1 year player, that's more so a rental, and you're not going to be able to get as much value as you could have gotten just trading them now. These guys are speaking facts, my friends.
There was no chance he was going to sign a deal. And then you have to start thinking, oh, well, if we're going to pay him all this money, you're kind of capping your ceiling if you weren't able to find that what you needed was DeJounte Murray's functional superior, not even his equal. I think when you get into a conversation about the Wizards with Beal, or maybe even the Bulls with Zach LaVine, you're not necessarily looking, or whatever team lines up with Donovan Mitchell, you're not necessarily looking for a player better than any of them. You want their equal. In the Spurs case with DeJounte Murray, they needed someone who was better than him to really chart that championship course. And so I like everything that they did here. And look, they have not played all the arrows in their quiver just yet. They could be a sneaky Russell Westbrook destination. If they have
I still think that's a possibility. Actually, when was this? Oh, this is okay. This was posted just a couple days ago. Yeah, I agree.
cap space, they have Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott. If you're the Lakers, look about how much money you save. Would you give up 2 first-round picks for that type of a deal, and you're still conserving your cap space for 2020?
Guys, I'd take Russell Westbrook in a heartbeat. Some people are like, well, yeah, just get Russell Westbrook and play him. That defeats the purpose. You wouldn't play him. You would let him go so he can go sign with the contender. You would just pay him. Yeah, I don't know why some people think that. I don't know.
23 for the most part, even though Doug McDermott would be on the books. But I like that the Spurs finally chose a direction. I think the one thing you could look at and say, well, it really feels like this is going to be Greg Popovich's last year. Now we know he's not going to be fielding a competitive team. There's like some, regret there. At the same time, he appears reinvigorated by coaching youngsters. He seems to be loving it. And 2, unless you were going to go all in for Mitchell or be the team that went after Durant, you weren't going to have this team that was worthy of Greg Popovich's last year.
No, you weren't. By the way, I don't know if this is last year, but no, you weren't. That's what I was saying too. Like a lot of people were like, okay, because I did come to this conclusion eventually. I was like, guys, I don't know if we have DJ, Zach LaVine, and Ayton, if that's a good enough team going forward. I just didn't picture it as being a star team or a team that's going to go for a championship. It's just not there. Okay, you're dealing with DeAndre Ayton, who obviously he's going to have to adjust to a different role with the Spurs, because previously the way that the Suns have utilized him, they haven't really used his talents, in my opinion, to the best they could. Or maybe that is who he is. We have no idea. And then on top of it, when we're looking at Zach LaVine, he hasn't really been successful in leading a team yet. And then we look at Murray. He hasn't been successful at leading a team. So it just didn't. Yeah. I just wasn't sure about it
Necessarily.
No, and it's his decision, right? Like he must have signed off on all this, and that's fine. The other thing is too, like the goal, and I think the way they've set themselves up
I'm
is
following
to
this
be
guy
bad,
on Twitter,
right? But I think you've still got, just not that this is necessarily a factor in the grade, it's just something I would be concerned about if my team did this. I'm still going to watch, because I really want to see what Josh Primo does with a chance to kind of explore the space. I want to see if Keldon Johnson takes another step. I want to see if Vassell looks like a real 3-and-D, like this is going to be a guy, on the next really great Spurs team. There's what kind of a defender is Sohan going to be against NBA players? Like, is he going to be as good as ever? Is he another piece that's going to be there when Wembanyama is your number one guy and you've got all these guys around him? Is he going to? So there's tons of reasons to stay invested, which is almost never the case in a rebuild that's as thorough as this one looks like it's going to be, or it looks like it already sort of is, because they're set now. Even if they don't do anything with all that cap space, which
we're good,
I assume they will. This is a solid. If we started grading foundations or paths forward or 5 years away power rankings or asset pools, the Spurs are right there. This is a sweet position to be in. So even one of the worst aspects of this situation, which is normally an unwatchable product, is just not at play right now. So
I don't even think they're going to be unwatchable. At least for me as a fan, I'm going to have a lot of fun. But then again, that's because I'm such a big Primo fan, and I'm also a big Sohan fan. So I'm just going to have fun watching those two. Regardless, even if we're losing, even if we're bad, I'm catching just about every game. Any game I can catch, I'm gonna catch.
Yeah, I think it's an A, and I would love to hear the case for less than an A if somebody had one.
Yeah, really.
Maybe an A- because they didn't trade Jakob Poeltl or something. But
well, I guess that would be that would be a good. I mean, I think that's fine. I know they're laughing off, but trading Jakob, I mean. That does make a little sense. You can get even more picks, but I understand the Spurs wanting to keep him. Especially you don't know how Zach Collins is going to be. And then Jakob, he's in a perfect position to kind of help out with guys that need screens like Malachi and Josh Primo. Well, Josh Primo doesn't need them, but these two guys utilize them well. That's what I meant.
They could still do that and probably will, although maybe he ends up being really cheap and they just keep him. But I'm I'm enamored with where they go from here. And I think, to your point, they're going to be fun to watch. They were last year.
Yeah.
They had the fastest average offensive possession time in the league. I will say it wasn't always pretty, but like they're kind of built to play with more speed now. I don't think DeJounte Murray slowed them down by any stretch, but they're like complete anarchy when you look at their pecking order. Like it's Josh Primo. They gave more ball screens to Devin Vassell after the Derek White trade. They really might try and plumb him as a.
What is going on here? I mean, usually I come across these and they're not that informative. These guys are very informative. It's kind of scary. What's going on here? What's going on here?
Half-court creator now, Jeremy Sohan. I'm assuming he gets a lot of playing time, and he also, I think Malachi Branham should wind up getting more playing time than Blake Wesley. I don't know between them.
Yeah, he will. I think he will.
But Malachi
Every
Branham
take, by the way, it's like perfect.
is like sort of that swing prospect where everything could go wrong and he'll look awful, but that's someone who could probably put up points and tough shots in a hurry. I'm just fascinated by what they're doing now. And I think it was probably the overdue call to make, but they made it. And it's important that they did.
True.
And maybe it's timed right, because maybe Wembanyama really is what is as advertised.
We'll see. He is. We'll see if we get him. Okay, I'm trying not to get my hopes up. That's why I haven't done too many videos on Victor Wembanyama. We will be doing videos though, and I'll talk about more people that the Spurs could potentially get. I just need to kind of link up with Swish Hill on that, because he's very informative when it comes to these prospects. So
maybe this is the year to take your shot. The last thing is, I think too with Murray, like he was good enough to where you did have to make considerations about the pieces you put around him because of his shooting limitations, and just like he's an uncommon player, like a primary ball handler that's still just a suspect shooter off the catch and off the bounce especially. But
yeah, he's I said this about him too. Like he's completely right. Like DJ is good enough where you have to think about these things. And he's good enough where he kind of needs to be the starter, and he's good enough where he kind of needs to be the point guard, but it's never like he's good enough where he can be the like vital piece or like the main piece to your team, and then you go on and make a run. Like it has never been like that. And I feel like, me personally, I think DJ is going to have to take more of a True Holiday type role once he gets on a championship caliber team, or maybe even the Atlanta Hawks if they become that. I think he's going to have to change up his game a little bit, because identically, God, I butchered that word. I'm still butchering it. He's very close to Drew Holiday, like as far as skill and everything. So I don't know. We'll see.
He's an all-star. So to sort of clean the slate by saying like, we are no longer having to consider, well, do all these other positions have enough shooting to compensate for our primary ball handler being sketchy in that area? Like now you're just best player available all the time. Like that's just, you can just get away with that. So I also like that freedom.
Oh crap. Was that it? That was it. That was an absolutely great video. I'm gonna link them below, because I really enjoyed this. This was really good. But yeah, like every single point was just amazing. Anyways, I'll give it to you guys later, man. If you want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description. But yeah, man, deuces. Oh, wait, scratch that. Hold on. No deuces. Wait a minute. I promised I would do something. I didn't do it. I was going to be the first comment. Good take. Wait, no, that seems like I'm lying. Good take. There we go. Yeah. On the first comment. Oh yeah. All right. Anyways, deuces for real this time.